Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
If only you could kind of hit pause on the set and just try again, so the audience are just like, oh, okay, that's what you were meant to be doing.
Bloody hell, it's Soft Cell. No, it's not Soft Cell. It's Drum and Drummer.
Is that two bald guys? Who are Soft Cell again?
Soft Cell, I mean, he just says it in Alan Partridge, doesn't he?
Oh, right.
Bloody hell, it's Soft Cell.
I thought it was like a Right Said Fred. Like, you know.
No.
Bloody hell, it's Right Said Fred. Or it's Tom Kerridge and
Phil Mitchell.
Phil Mitchell. Yeah, exactly.
Bloody hell, it's that guy from the Lainey Wilson Experience.
Exactly.
Fresh from Box Park, Wembley.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll briefly talk about that. Just a long day. A long day.
Do you know what? I think, because that's a pretty cool gig. I think we should save that for when it's just the two
we'll
of
save
us.
it for next week. Because I did send you a picture. And then I thought, if we're having a guest, we can't really put the picture up.
Yeah.
We'll save all that.
And I thumbs up the picture.
Yeah.
And then I did text you much later and just say, like, that's really awesome.
It was
sweet. I thought, do you know what? The thumbs up isn't enough.
No, I did notice that. That was kind of you. You are someone who kind of like, I wouldn't say, I don't know. It's sort of like you're trying to get your father's approval in something. That's how I am with texting you. Yeah. Like, I'm always thinking, this is really funny. This will make Ben laugh. And I get, literally H-A. That's it. That's it. And I'm like, I know that I could, if I can just find something that I'll get like 3 laughing emojis or ha. If I can get ha, you know.
It's like the American Office, mate. It's got to be special to get.
Yeah, well, this is it.
Craig Robinson out.
I remember once you telling me like, oh, this mate of mine, I won't go into it, but he was dating a woman in another country. Do you know what I'm on about from that? He was in a band we played in, I Det for. He used to fly over to America.
Yes.
I think it was him. And I think he sent something to you and you were like, it's fucking so funny. Lol. And I was like, how do I get that? You know, so it was nice to get awesome, by the way. But anyway.
Yeah, so let's talk about on a
terrible intro from me.
So this is a terrible intro from us both. But what's not terrible is our guest.
Yeah.
So today we are joined by Mr. Jacob Andrews.
Yep. I'll give a quick backstory.
Can do.
Met him a few years ago. Pat Garvey put us in touch with each other. And he was one of those people who I'm incredibly grateful for the gigs because he's never seen me drum. We met once for about an hour. And then after we met, you know, he'd pop up sometimes. Hey, man, do you want to do this gig? I was thinking there's a lot of trust in that, you know. He just kind of goes, it'll be all right. Or maybe I was just very at the bottom of the list, you know.
Could be.
He went through everyone and then finally went, I did meet this guy and he was really bad at Ableton, but he showed me a bit.
Yeah. He's got arms.
He's got arms. I think he's
got legs.
Yeah.
Unconfirmed.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently has some drums. Sometimes forgets his cymbals.
Yeah.
Take a punt. That's what Benny and Bjorn would do. You know.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. Even if you're on the bottom rung of the ladder and you get the opportunity, take it.
Take it.
Prove yourself. Do the job well. And lo, the check doth cometh in the post.
Well, this is it. There's certain gigs I'll just say I don't want to know where I am on the ladder, but if I'm getting it, it's fine. You know. Did I tell you Tim Love, old Loverboy, the other day? He, I put who will be our next guest on the podcast in a few weeks. I couldn't do a gig, so I said, "You're right if Kurt does it," you know. And he was like, "Yeah, cool." And I texted him afterwards. I was like, how was Kurt? He's like, yeah, he's bloody good. Almost to the point where I was like, oh, have I now lost my gigs? And he was a bit like, yeah, you have. Like,
you got to find
down.
You got to find someone,
who
could do it,
but
won't get you kicked out.
Exactly, and that's what Tim said. He said because I think he messaged Chris as well because we were on a gig, Chris and I. And he's like, bloody hell, Kurt's good, isn't he? And I was like, oh, great, that's me. Tim was like, don't do that. Don't get someone really good. And I was like, well. it's for your gig. I wanted to supply someone great. You know, he's like, no, get someone average who smells. You know, then you'll keep your gig. You know, so yeah. Anyway, that's that.
Sure. Well, let's dive in. Great chat. This is Mr. Jacob Andrews, freelance drummer, session drummer, plays in an ABBA tribute band, plays in a really cool new metal band called Profiler. Let's go. Here's our chat with Mr. Jacob Andrews.
I mean, I'll start with how we met. It was an Ableton lesson, I guess. Are you still? Was that for Profiler?
That was long before that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because that must have been like, I don't know, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Mate, I think it was like more like 3 or 4.
Really?
Because I was looking to get up to speed on Ableton. I mean, I use it now, but not for Profiler. I've never used it for Profiler. They're set in their ways with Logic.
Right, okay.
For now, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gave me a very good introduction to it, so thank you.
Well, that was all I could really do, because Pat I mentioned to Pat that I was starting to learn it, and then Pat Garvey, and then he sort of went, right, well, anyone I know that needs help, I'll send them your way. And I was like, it was that thing where it's like, where you're one lesson ahead of the student, you know what I mean? It was sort of like, this is what I know, but
yeah, I mean, it was good. Like, I feel like sometimes that the knowledge gap not being massive actually lends to it, because it's all fresh in your head, you know?
Yeah. And we were sort of learning together, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what, let's find out, you know?
Yeah.
Let's Google it together.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Chat GPT, how to use Ableton. Yeah, no, it's all right. So what was that for then, if not Profile?
That was just in general.
Yeah.
General, like, for session work, anything where I need to be the one running the tracks.
Yeah.
And, Ableton is the go-to now, the industry standard.
Exactly.
If you will. Yeah, it still scares me.
Yeah.
I'm much better at it now than I was. But
are there many? I mean, I don't use it anymore. There's no gigs I use it. Is it something you're still using?
Yeah, to be honest, actively right now with the ABBA tribute, they use it. It's not me who's kind of the one hitting play, but
no.
To be honest, to understand it if it's being used is a good skill to have. And there's gigs that like I'm no longer on, which I have done in the past, like pretty recent past, that I've used it for. And again, it's just like, it is a massive learning curve. But I feel like every gig I play, I think I learn something new, like how to do that thing slightly differently, and especially with the session gigs.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways to run track or all that kind of stuff, and eventually I'll get to one that I'm like, I can stick with this.
Yeah.
But I think, I mean, running Ableton is definitely up there with something I'll happily do for any session gig, basically.
Yeah. Are you still at the point where it's scary and you're worried it will fall apart at any moment, like I am?
I trust it.
Right.
Like
I'm not there yet.
On stage.
Yeah.
But it's more my input that I don't trust. I trust the software.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But there's something about Logic which is just so user friendly and like comforting. That like if I've just done one that's with Ableton and then I go over to back to Logic, it's just like it's a comfort zone thing.
I remember you saying that, Ben, about Pro Tools and Logic, saying Pro Tools is very like, here it is, you figure it out. and Logic
in the
is
recording studio, Pro Tools is like, what you got?
Yeah.
What have you got? Because I'm ready, but it's all up to you.
Yeah.
And Logic's a bit like, come here, small child, let me stroke you into some music creativity. So with Profiler, do you consider yourself as that's like your main identity, that you're the drummer in Profiler, or do you consider yourself you are a freelance session drummer and you also do that? Do you have anything in your mind that where you feel that you sit at the moment?
To be honest, it's never been like a solid thing. There was like the band I was in before Profiler, there were a few years where I was definitely like that's my priority. That's all I'm doing for the majority of that. For like maybe 3 or 4 years, that's all I was doing. But now, like, I'd say, to be honest, in a year, it's about 50-50 with like functions and stuff like that, and then the profiler stuff. For me, that works really well because I grew up on the heavy stuff, and then I grew up on like all the pop and funk, and a lot of funk and soul and stuff like that. So I get different things from both gigs, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, if I had to define it, I would say just a freelance drummer who is a permanent member in Profiler.
Yeah.
But I'd like to maybe in the near future kind of branch out and do more of my own writing, which again just goes under this canopy of freelance drummer, I guess.
Well, speaking of, I mean, I think Ben and I both were interested because I remember even seeing a video of you with Profiler once and messaging like, this is fucking so cool, where you're playing open-handed. So you've got, left hand is on the crash, I guess. And then you're sort of with the right hand, between playing the snare, you're sort of hitting cymbals. And I was like, that's so creative. But where did the open-handed playing come about?
I think it's a culmination of some things. So my first drum teacher, he was right-handed, but he played open-handed. But because he was right-handed, he could play the ride on his right hand, no problem at all. Whereas I always struggled, and I would even do this thing where I was kind of like cross-handing the ride on the right-hand side. So I was doing basically the opposite of...
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah.
Are you left-handed?
Or...
I am left-handed, yeah.
Right, okay.
But yeah, it very quickly did not work.
Yeah.
Crossing your hands that far across a kit.
Yeah.
And then my second teacher was left-handed as well.
Are you all in a club? Is there a secret club?
Do you know what? Like, I don't know. I grew up in like a very small town. Like the fact that these 2 left-handed drummers were there, including me, it was crazy. Because then I went to BIM, and it was like there was one guy that had to have the whole kit turned round. I think maybe 2 open hand players, and that was about it.
Yeah.
Was it ever discussed when you started playing that, like, was there ever a consideration for you of having the kit reversed?
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, it's been like Profiler is the biggest project where I've had to be learn to be ambidextrous, basically, because in bands before I would just kind of have the majority of my cymbals on my left. My ride is still on my left, so that's probably what you saw, George. Was like I've got my ride kind of, I guess, where a crash would be.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then with Profiler, it was like, okay, there's a lot of breakdowns and stuff like that. There's a lot of kind of stack things going on the recordings. So I didn't have space for a China on my left. So I had to have it on the right. And yeah, that was a big learning curve. That's probably like in like recent, maybe like the past 2 years, that was the biggest step, like in terms of practicing and stuff. Because I just had to get used to riding crashes and chinas and stuff on my right hand. And so also, as you said, Ben, like I am playing on a right-handed kit, so there was always some things that I was going to struggle with, like going round the kit, but also it opens you up to kind of more interesting fills as well, like not the go-tos. So it's been like a bit of a thought process throughout the whole time I've been playing drums, to be honest. Like, and I've finally landed on something which took a bit of getting used to, which is just having an equal amount of cymbals on either side, learning to lead with both, and then just my ride on my left and playing open hand on the hats.
Is there one side that feels stronger than the other? Or...
My left, I think my left will always be stronger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to be honest, a lot of like rudiments and stuff, I purposefully learnt them leading with my right, and in a weird way, they're almost stronger. But yeah, I mean, it's that difference, isn't it, between each hand that I think you can you can get better, but I'm left-handed, and it's always going to feel more natural, I guess. I don't know. Maybe there's people out there that can just do handwriting with either hand, but not me.
But it's such a good skill to have both. I mean, like, it's whenever I try and play open-handed, I'm always aware of how badly, I mean, I can't do it. And you think of, there's like a few certain songs, especially like function songs, where it's better to do open-handed. Things like Don't Stop Believing and Life is a Highway. They're kind of like left hand on the hi-hat, right hand on the snare, and then the right hand is doing like extra tom work. And it's like, I'd love to be able to, but it's like, I'd really have to go back to, the start. And I remember Ollie Thacker once talking about it and saying how he sort of, whenever he learnt something, he learned it both ways round, like from the beginning. And I was like, kind of one of those things, I wish I did that from the start,
Oh, 100%. I mean, that would have saved me a lot of time, to be honest, if I did that from the start. But works.
Well, you mentioned ABBA, the ABBA tribute, that you very kindly gave me some of the gigs last month, 2 months ago, I can't remember.
Something like that,
in Cambridge. I mean, you didn't mention that one of them was at 3 a.m, but
in fairness, in my defense, I wasn't told, but until very late. No, I just kept that to myself. But
what's that like playing in ABBA stuff? Because I mean, from my point of view, I only really know ABBA from just the hits that everyone sort of knows.
Yeah,
I've never really thought about the drums in ABBA.
Yeah,
and I imagine a lot of people haven't. So, was there anything maybe aside from money that was like appealing to you about doing that sort of music?
I think, I mean, straight off the bat, there was definitely more an incentive than just money. Because me and Tom, the guitarist, were playing kind of like these like small pub cover gigs in Brighton, and we both kind of wanted to do something a bit more, maybe like higher production, and tributes are a great thing for that because they are higher production because you've got to emulate to some extent the band that you're covering. And I mean, Tom had already had this idea about ABBA and very kindly asked me because we were already playing together. It's again, like you said, I never really have listened to the drums in ABBA. I heard a lot of the songs and I went, oh, it's just the money beat the whole way through,
My favorite genre of music.
Exactly. Yeah. And there is something about just like a pop gig at the time, certainly, and still now, that I really wanted to have alongside like the heavier stuff. It's a whole different experience, like much less physically taxing, and you can kind of really focus on it and like just have fun, which is such a big plus to have when you're playing live. But and I went down a bit of a deep dive with it, and there are some songs which I will kind of add my own flair to because I'm maybe bored of playing the money beat for the past like 4 songs. And then there's others that are on the track. They're genuinely like, oh, this is actually really cool what they're doing. Especially the live versions of some of the songs. I mean, their drummer had this massive kit, and he doesn't play what's on the track. He plays considerably more complex stuff. It's really fun to do, and you can kind of like, it scratches an itch that Profiler doesn't, and having both of them doing different things, like serving different things for musical output, let's say, is really, really good.
I was going to ask, unless Ben, you've got anything. I was
going to
ask about.
You ask, George.
Ask away, boy. Ask away, boy. This is the double acting.
I like
session. You obviously had or have lessons with Pat. you still having them or?
Not currently, no.
No, fair. What sort of stuff were you doing? I was just going to ask about that.
To be honest, I think for the majority of it, I mean, obviously, I went to BIM and studied with him for the time I was there, and he was like, out of the teachers I've had throughout the time I've been playing drums, me and like Pat really kind of stood out to me and was exactly the teaching style that worked for me. So once I left BIM, I went back to him for private lessons. In fact, I had them, I think, whilst I was still at BIM, and we went quite deep into like jazz independence. Yeah. yeah. It's almost as scary as Ableton. But yeah, and part of that was traditional grip, which had always, stood out to me. And Pat himself plays traditional grip quite a lot of the time, and it just was always kind of a fascination. And I was like, I'd really like to get to a point where like I can do what I can do, match grip with trad grip.
Wow. And open-handed. Fucking hell.
And open-handed, yeah. Which, that was a bit different because obviously when you're reading off a sheet music or something, it's going to be, the sticking at least is going to be the wrong way round for you. Because I was leading with my left. So, but jazz is a whole different thing because with rock and metal, you're leading with the bass drum and the snare. That's like the backbeat, basically. Whereas with jazz, the ride is so important, and also the hi-hat, which I never realized until me and Pat were doing this. You're almost your left foot with rock and stuff like that is basically to keep time, whereas with jazz it is a whole other instrument. Basically, it's not just on the 2 and 4 and stuff like that. It's classed as its own thing, basically, and that these skills are transferable. And we're talking about like the ABBA tribute and Profiler being so different, but actually they're the same mechanics. Like the jazz independent stuff really took my playing just in general to a new level because it's so transferable. The ride patterns and stuff like that is come into like all aspects of my playing. So it was a really good time.
I remember Jack Pollitt at BIM saying, and I always remember this one, that it was sort of jazz is sort of everything in reverse, which is sort of what you're saying with the rock and pop, because it is the ride and the hi-hat, the loud driving force, not loud necessarily, but and then kick and the snare are quieter. Do you like jazz music, or is it more sort of like the drummers in their own realm?
I like jazz music. A lot of like Miles Davis and big band stuff, which Buddy Rich was so famous for. But and then moving from the jazz to fusion stuff, which was just like that's if I had to pick a genre that I would like, if I ever wrote my own stuff, it probably would be, well, it would be definitely fusion influenced, just because you're blending those two genres and passions, ideas, all that kind of stuff. So that's where the original idea to go into the jazz stuff started.
Right.
And I'd just been playing rock for a long time. I wasn't even playing metal at that point. The Profiler stuff was, when I first joined, I hadn't been playing, I don't think I was playing double bass stuff or anything like that for at least 4 or 5 years. That's kind of what I grew up playing, and then have revisited it with Profiler.
Well, you've really got all the spectrum then. You can do jazz and double kick stuff. That's great. So what kind of things did you notice? Is it like your playing change when you started doing jazz, like with things that aren't necessarily jazz?
I would say lead anything with my left foot. I mean, it's so like hi-hats on kind of where they wouldn't normally be. Trying to think of examples in like Profiler songs. But...
Mine does that, but by accident.
Yeah.
Should be on the turntable, but it's just wandered off.
Yeah, that's what's funny, because whenever I'm trying to do something like the more complicated stuff live, if you do mess it up, if it does go wrong, then it goes really wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're kind of going like, I feel like the audience are thinking like, where could he possibly have been going with that idea? I'm just kind of thinking in my head, no, trust me, it could have been really cool. But,
stay with me on this.
Yeah, exactly. If only you could kind of hit pause on the set and just try again, so the audience are just like, oh, okay, that's what you were meant to be doing. Sadly, it doesn't work like that.
Good, that'd be mental. Have you ever tried doing a jazz gig?
Traditional jazz, not really. I think that's really something I would like to do. In terms of like jazz standards in function gigs, then there's been a couple, none that are like particularly challenging that I could probably have done them to an acceptable standard even if I didn't do all the jazz independent stuff with Pat. But again, like talking about kind of doing my own stuff, writing my own music, which is going to be like almost drum led. Like you see these big session guys, especially in like the 80s, that they all happen to have like, they were all doing albums on their own, like Dave Weckl and stuff like that. And it's just really you can tell it's been written by a drummer. And I really like that.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the jazz stuff I'd like to incorporate into stuff that I would do on my own.
Yeah, basically. Awesome. I just have one more question on that vibe. The traditional grip, what advantages do you find to being able to do that as well as match? And do you use it much?
Do I use it much? Well, compared to match, no. In Profiler, no. Because it's definitely not as I just haven't spent as much time on it as matched, and it is definitely not the go-to still. But if I was ever doing jazz, I would use it because that's how me and Pat were sitting. Like every time I was in that room, pretty much give or take, I was using traditional just because that's what we agreed we were gonna tackle all the jazz independent stuff with.
Was that almost like, I don't want to say a deal, a grubby deal, but was it like if you're going to do jazz, you have to do traditional grip?
No.
Oh, fair.
No, but there are certain advantages. I personally think, I don't know if anyone shares this, but I feel like it's easier to get those ghost notes that are defined with which is so important in jazz because you're basically using the snare as like a filler, you're just accenting what is going on with the ride and the hi-hat, and the same with the bass drum.
Right.
So and to get those like consistent ghost notes, I don't know if it's just me because that's what we did, but I find them easier to control with traditional grip. And also you can get like a full stroke out of them that sounds really comfortable. And to be honest, like if I wasn't obviously with Profiler, well, not obviously, but like a lot of the time it's all rim shots and trying to get the snare as it's at 100% all the time, apart from the ghost notes and stuff. And with traditional, I feel like I can kind of hit the drum easier and not rim shot, so you're getting a different sound basically. That was a really nerdy way of saying it, but
no, that's interesting because I always thought like, is that like almost why you don't see rock drummers use is because I don't know much about it, and whether it's like, are you able to get the same attack, do you reckon, as you would on match?
I would say so, definitely. Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I personally get a different sound out of the snare when I'm using traditional grip because it's probably most likely just how my snare is set up. I have it quite high, so my hand is, if I'm using traditional, then it's not going to hit naturally, it's not going to hit the rim, so you're not going to get a rim shot. So it just gets me a different sound that maybe if I kind of delve deeper into this fusion stuff, then I might go for that. But again, it's still at the moment, it's still out of a comfort zone in general playing. But if it was just the jazz stuff, then it would feel weird doing it matched.
What have you got coming up with Profiler then?
So I've just done 3 songs in the studio. In fact, the boys have just done the guitars and bass today.
Nice.
For the next 3 songs. So yeah, it's a bit of a, let's say, transitional time. A bit, or we've been doing stuff on our own for about a year now. They were previously with Sharp Tone, and just for the album that they did before I joined, and the singles after. So and then it's been independent since I've been in the band, but that's kind of changing now. Booking agent and just a team around us to do the next singles and then eventually working to an album. So in terms of live stuff, it's a bit quiet at the moment until we get some songs out, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and play them.
So you're recording these new tracks, like, because I prefer studio stuff to live in general. I'll do live, sure. I'll do anything for 50 quid. But like, could you just talk, because I do things my way, you know, they're just the way I'm comfortable, but like, maybe if you could just go through a little bit of like, I don't know, the setup of like how you recorded these. Were you doing like one takes all the way through? Were you punching in? And did you have like demos to work from? Was this, you know, that kind of thing, if there's any sort of nuggets in there?
Yeah. So yeah, we did it at Longwave, which is in Cardiff. So yeah, it's proper studio. A very nice. I mean, I always bring my kit just kind of for variation, and my snares kind of become a bit of a staple. So yeah, I like for Profiler. So I bought everything, but I ended up using the toms are from a Recording Custom, and there's a really nice Ludwig bass drum, which I don't know I don't know what it is, but it sounds good. But yeah, and yeah, I'm having the tracks kind of ready to go in, but I don't do them one take through because I've never done it like that, to be honest. I'm always an advocate for kind of punching in because you can and getting the best take. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me personally. If I want to do the full takes, like just a whole take, then that's what I do if I'm doing like drum playthroughs for YouTube and stuff like that. So yeah, there's some that don't take many kind of jump ins and stuff like that, but others that, well, okay, out of the 3, 1 we spent most of the day on, and it was like, I don't know, I kind of go mind blank sometimes when I'm in the studio. It's interesting you say that you're more of a studio guy, because I'm definitely more live. Well, I think my playing's better when I'm live. There's just something about being in that room where I don't know, it's like a mind blank or something.
Do you mean like, as in like it's almost overwhelming? Is that sort of thing, or?
Just more like, I think the process I just struggle with more, to get what I want to do out on the spot, that kind of stuff.
Is it a mind blank in terms of like, I assume you've got, you know, the parts written or before you go in. So is it like a disconnect between your brain going, I want my body to do this, and the body actually doing it?
I think it's more the stuff, the stuff that I have prepared comes out, but it's the stuff that, I think we should change this, kind of like the stuff that we're doing on the fly, which seems to be, I don't know. Yeah, it's just hard to kind of have that planned in the moment. But yeah, I don't know, because when it's live, it's even more on the fly, you know, like I don't have every single fill planned, and they seem to come out fine. So yeah, it's weird.
But that's something Ben and I have discussed before, because I much prefer playing live, and Ben much prefers, being in the studio. And we've talked about when you're playing live, it's like if you make a mistake or something goes wrong, it's already gone. It's forgotten about.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the ether forever, and you keep going. And that was why I was almost gonna like butt in when you were talking about like, oh, if only you could pause on a gig, and be like, let me try that again. But I think there's something about if it does, I don't know, you don't get something right, then it's not like everything carries on. It's like, right, let's try that again. And I think I've found it after like a day or even a few hours of like, right, we'll just punch in from the city. Like, I don't know where I am anymore. I'm lost. I'm just lost in a desert of,
With the punching in and comping, do you have in your mind like as kind of you know what sections you want to do that with, or is it a bit more of a see how it goes and go, okay, right, we need to punch in from this place?
It's loosely kind of planned. Like there's parts that I think will be better for punching in, and I mean I especially with Profiler's sound, I want a polished kind of drum sound. If I, to do multiple takes to get exactly the right one, I'm kind of happy with that. And Tom, our producer, is really good at kind of knowing. He ends up kind of having me do a couple of options for basically every part, because there's sometimes, not all the time, but where the song there's still some guitar bit that it might be changed, or the chorus might be slightly different. So to have like 3 slightly different choruses on the drums, and it's not that different, it's more just like maybe a slightly different like kick variation or stuff like that. But we end up doing maybe 3 versions of every section, to be honest. And that's the bit that I enjoy, but I find difficult.
So with Profiler, I mean, you say you prefer playing live, but is there, with a band of that sort of nature, a question I like to ask myself in terms of when I'm doing a project or anything to do with the drumming career is like, it's where's the satisfaction? Like, and what's your kind of like bit of being in Profiler that gets your juices going the most?
I briefly mentioned it earlier, but the fact that I hadn't been playing metal for a long time, I think, and some of my friends were, and I was kind of like, I kind of want to do that again. So it's definitely tapping into what I was listening to when I first started playing, and what I grew up listening to, really. And that kind of whole, I had already seen this kind of resurgence with new metal just in general. It made sense in my head that it was coming back around, and I was really excited by that because I mean, I listened to a lot of Limp Bizkit and Slipknot and stuff and bands like that, Deftones, when I was growing up, and it was such a random. There were so many kind of small things that was the reason why the whole Profiler thing happened. It was completely by chance that I even found out that they were looking for a drummer. But anyway, so it scratches that itch, and also it does. There are quite a lot of songs that I can show off a bit and kind of have that moment, which again, a lot of the stuff that I played in the past, just the music that it was doesn't lend itself to crazy showy off drumming, which it's just different genres, I guess. So
we all want that moment, don't we? I was in a band and I was like, I'll try and get all these moments in where it's like, that's everyone eyes on me, please, for this bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck the guitar, boring. Oh, 6 strings, well done. Look at all these things I get to hit.
Yeah. And you can't move as a drummer. Well, you can, but not as much, obviously, because you're sat down. So you don't get that. The guitarist can go on the little riser, the ego riser, and the singer's obviously taking all the limelight. The drummer, I think every band needs at least one song where you get that little moment. And it wasn't even my idea, to be honest, to have this little drum moment in one song in particular. But yeah, it's just a little drum fill section, and it's quite nice.
I'll do it.
Yeah. If you insist.
What's that? You want drum fills? Yeah. If you want.
Ben, should we do our final question?
Let's do it, man. Do you want to ask it, Georgie boy?
Yeah, I can ask it. Jacob, who is your favorite delivery company?
Delivery company. Are we talking food or like?
Everyone always says that. Whatever you want. It can be food. It can be any sort of courier.
Go international if you want. There's no limits.
I
like that he's turned away to think. Really,
he's looking at a pile of parcels.
As if I've got all my deliveries. To be honest, I think DPD get a lot of flack, right? But I've never had a problem with them.
Yeah.
So probably them, but they're the lowest on my list. Every single parcel I've ever had from them has there's been some sort of issue. So yeah.
It's mad, isn't it?
Solid choices, yeah. That seems to be
I've never had. Yeah, most people go for DPD as the top, and
I've got to go for something else then.
Yeah, you can if you want.
Okay, yeah. Uber Eats is pretty good.
Okay, there you go.
And what's your favourite order?
Oh yeah.
What are you pressing order again on? I've hit that button for the Chinese many times.
Yeah, I'm a big sushi fan, to be honest.
Oh.
But again, I can tell you my least favourite, which is Domino's. I think it's so overrated.
Okay.
It's
dense, and you feel horrible after.
I think that's part of it. I think that's part of the takeaway experience, you know. Yeah, this might ruin my day, but I think it's the lead up. You know, you're like, this is going to be great, and then you're eating it like, this is great, and then afterwards you're like,
yeah,
I hate myself. You know, what have I done?
Yeah, I've just paid to hate myself.
Yeah, there's always a bit of guilt.
Yeah, there is
a bit of guilt, definitely.
I have to really earn my takeaways.
Yeah,
like I have to have done like a solid weekend of studio work or gigging.
Yeah,
to be like, A, financially I can justify it, but B, I've earned this blout of gluttony.
There's only one place I order from now, and it's Pizza Express, because it's always half price, and you can get like a decent sized pizza for like £8, and that's it. And but because I always feel like it's a risk. I'm not someone that orders food a lot, and I'll be like, maybe I'll get a Greek something, you know. And it's like £30 for a gyros. And you're like, that was a waste. It was a waste of money. So
I would look at half price all the time and think, red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's half price all the time.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, Pizza Express, I'm amazed they're still open, because they have so many deals all the time. And also, if you get the app, then if you build up enough pizza points or whatever, you go in and you get everything for free. You get dough balls and a drink and a dessert. You're like, how are they making a profit? You know, I've only spent £10. But
do you work for Pizza Express then?
I should do. But
get that collab.
Yeah.
Famous.
Well, yeah, if we're going to collab with someone, I think a food, business.
Well,
would be
I always thought when I was a young drummer with dreams, who would in the non-drumming world would I want to have an endorsement from?
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I've got no idea, but I always envisaged the dream would be to be endorsed by Skittles, and every gig I just have a massive bowl of Skittles next to me.
Yeah,
that I just eat while playing. So
there you go.
That would be in your contract to do that.
Yeah, like I'll happily do it. I'll be like, I will eat your Skittles on stage, and you will supply me with Skittles.
Do you like Skittles? I've never heard you mention
Skittles.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I thought you were more a chocolate man than a sweet man.
Well, chocolate. I like sweeties.
Right. Well, should we wrap it up? Because now we're just chatting without even Jacob, which is just rude. Jacob, where can people find you and Profiler? Not literally. I mean, online. Not what is your address.
Send my address out. Instagram. My Instagram is at Mr. Jacob Andrews, and then Profiler is at Profiler Band, and Spotify, all that kind of stuff.
All that. I do like the Mr. Jacob Andrews. I like the Mr. on it. That's cool.
That is a joke from when I was about 14 that has just stuck.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to change it.
No.
So, yeah.
Well, it's like, do you know Dean Llewellyn? I don't know if you were the same time, Bim, but he's a guitarist I know, and his is the Dino Machine on
That's
Instagram.
brilliant.
And it's like, but now he's, fully, a serious musician and whatever. And I'm like, you got to keep that. He's like, I know, I can't, because then I'll lose all my followers if I change it. I don't know. So, yeah. Anyway, well, great. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much,
guys.
Jacob. Yeah, great to meet you, man.
Great. Yeah, you too. It's nice to like chat about just drums and with drummers as well.
I know. Hence, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's the second time we've actually spoke.
It's bad, isn't it?
I do find it funny how that works with drummer relationships. It's like, do you know Jacob? It's like I've met him once, but we've
yeah.
Well, it's just so often, isn't it? When you're the only one in the band, just when you're communicating, depping gigs and stuff, it's very rare you're ever going to be in the same building.
Exactly.
Unless it's been a major cock up in the diaries.
Yeah, both turn up to ABBA. No, it's meant to be two singers, not two drummers.
George, pop the wig on. You're up front tonight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, maybe I could have done that.
No, we'd make that work there.
I think we would. Yeah. I think we would. Maybe we should do that. Anyway, right, nice one.
Thank you very much, Jacob.
Thanks so much.
See you later.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye.
And there we go.
There we go. That was our chat. Do you feel like you've learned anything?
I feel ashamed about the way I treat my drumming career. In
what way?
Well, I don't put any effort in. He's learning trad, grit, jazz, pop, funk, fusion, metal.
Yeah, he's going every aspect of it. If you're going from, I see it as like metal is not the top, but metal is one end of the spectrum and jazz is the other. Obviously, it's not. It doesn't work like that. But that's how I see it. And to do both, to do double kick and trad on a jazz thing, you got it all. You got it all.
He wants it all. He can do it all. What a legend.
Do it all.
Yeah. George, I've got a little update for you.
Yeah.
So my new friend Johnny, who sold me the 8-inch stage custom rack tom, he reached out.
Oh yeah.
He found a replacement for his kit.
Oh shit.
I've got the 10-inch available. Do you want it? Yes, please, Johnny. I met him in a Sainsbury's car park and did a grubby little deal.
Love it.
This morning.
How much bunts? You've had a busy day.
I've had a very busy day. 110 to 110 cash.
110.
No case. Don't need it. Cheers.
Yeah.
So now I've got the 8, 10, 12, 13 and 16.
Brilliant.
22-inch kick. Matching.
Has that raised your urge to get the 14 now?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. I am on fucking red alert looking for that cunt. Yeah. So if anyone gets a sniff of like an original badge stage custom 90s, early noughties, natural wood finish, 14-inch floor tom, give me a shout.
Yeah.
But that would be so cool. I'm really looking forward to like I need to reskin the 12 and 16 I've got on the kit at the moment, but I'll get the whole gambit and just have a laugh. I'll just have a laugh in my studio and just set them all up. And I can finally go like...
Yeah. Well, that's it. Right. Just 16th round all the toms,
So no, it's great to get that off him. Thank you, Johnny. He now listens to the show, as does the rest of his band, and they really enjoy it because they're talking about shit gigs and stuff, isn't it? It's all good. It's all good. It's what we do. It's what we do. Let's bounce, George. I'm sick of you. Sick of the sight. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Sick of the sound of your voice.
Yep.
And the wife's making a lovely dinner, so I'm gonna.
What's she making?
A shakshuka.
Great.
No idea, but it sounds good.
It does sound good, yeah.
Sounds good, so I'm looking forward to tucking into that. Everyone, thank you very much for listening. Go and check out Profiler, some cool shit, man. drumandrummerpod@gmail.com. Get in touch. Instagram @drumandrummerpodcast, drumcharts.co.uk, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, and last thing, if Ben kept it in the edit, who would you want to be endorsed by, listeners?
Yes,
Send
who
it
would
in.
your non-drum branded endorsement?
Yeah.
Who would you want? I've got Skittles, George Pizza Express, and just pizza every gig.
Oh. Yeah. Oh my God, be the dream. Right. Yeah. Cool. Let us know.
Is that a skill that only drummers have? Is that we can tell you how big a pizza is just by looking at it?
Well, yeah, I was thinking that.
That's a 14-inch. Cheers.
Yeah, exactly. But I think 14 inches looks different in terms of a pizza than a drum. You know what I mean? If someone says, "Oh, we're getting a 14."
There's an experiment to be had there.
Bloody hell! Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. You know, let us know what do you think looks bigger in 14-inch terms, pizza or a drum? You know?
Very specific question.
That's
very what specific. We want.
But people reply to the specific ones. You know.
Yeah.
That's when we get an email. Not who's your favorite drummer. Who gives a shit? You know.
Yeah. It's good stuff. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.